Encyclical letter of Pope Francis Laudato Si, following, end of chapter 2, number 99. In the Christian understanding of the world, the destiny of all creation is bound up with the mystery of Christ present from the beginning. All things have been created through him and for him. Colossians chapter 1, verse 16. Note, hence St. Justin could speak of seeds of the word in the world. End of note. The prologue of the Gospel of John reveals Christ's creative work as the divine word, Logos. But then, unexpectedly, the prologue goes on to say that this same word became flesh. One person of the Trinity entered into the created cosmos, throwing in his lot with it, even to the cross. From the beginning of the world, but particularly through the Incarnation, the mystery of Christ is at work in a hidden manner in the natural world as a whole, without thereby impinging on its autonomy. The New Testament does not only tell us of the earthly Jesus and his tangible and loving relationship with the world. It also shows him risen and glorious, present throughout creation by his universal lordship. For in him all the fullness of God was pleased to dwell, and through him to reconcile to himself all things, whether on earth or in heaven, making peace by the blood of his cross. Colossians chapter 1, verse 19 to 20. This leads us to direct our gaze to the end of time, when the Son will deliver all things to the Father, so that God may be everything to everyone. 1 Corinthians chapter 15, verse 28. Thus, the creatures of this world no longer appear to us under merely natural guise, because the Risen One is mysteriously holding them to himself and redirecting them towards fullness as their end. The very flowers of the field and the birds, which his human eyes contemplated and admired, are now imbued with his radiant presence. Chapter 3: The human roots of the ecological crisis. It would hardly be helpful to describe the symptoms without acknowledging the human origins of the ecological crisis. A certain way of understanding human life and activity has gone awry, to the serious detriment of the world around us. Should we not pause and consider this? At this stage, I propose that we focus on the dominant technocratic paradigm and the place of human beings and of human action in the world. 1. Technology, creativity, and power. Humanity has entered a new era in which our technical prowess has brought us to a crossroads. We are the beneficiaries of 2 centuries of enormous waves of change: steam engines, railways, the telegraph, electricity, automobiles, aeroplanes, chemical industries, modern medicine, information technology, and more recently, the digital revolution, robotics, biotechnologies, and nanotechnologies. It is right to rejoice in these advances and to be excited by the immense possibilities which they continue to open up before us, for science and technology are wonderful products of a God-given human creativity. The modification of nature for useful purposes has distinguished the human family from the beginning. Technology itself expresses the inner tension that impels man gradually to overcome material limitations. technology has remedied countless evils which used to harm and limit human beings. How can we not feel gratitude and appreciation for this progress, especially in the fields of medicine, engineering, and communications? How could we not acknowledge the work of many scientists and engineers who have provided alternatives to make development sustainable? Technoscience, when well directed, can produce important means of improving the quality of human life, from useful domestic appliances to great transportation systems, bridges, buildings, and public spaces. It can also produce art and enable men and women immersed in the material world to leap into the world of beauty. Who can deny the beauty of an aircraft or a skyscraper? Valuable works of art and music now make use of new technologies. So, in the beauty intended by the one who uses new technical instruments, and in the contemplation of such beauty, a quantum leap occurs, resulting in a fulfillment which is uniquely human. Yet, it must also be recognized that nuclear energy, biotechnology, information technology, knowledge of our DNA, and many other abilities which we have acquired have given us tremendous power. More precisely, they have given those with the knowledge and especially the economic resources to use them an impressive dominance over the whole of humanity and the entire world. Never has humanity had such power over itself, yet nothing ensures that it will be used wisely, particularly when we consider how it is currently being used. We need but think of the nuclear bombs dropped in the middle of the 20th century, or the array of technology which Nazism, communism, and other totalitarian regimes have employed to kill millions of people, to say nothing of the increasingly deadly arsenal of weapons available for modern warfare. In whose hands does all this power lie, or will it eventually end up? It is extremely risky for a small part of humanity to have it. There is a tendency to believe that every increase in power means an increase of progress itself, an advance in security, usefulness, welfare, and vigor, an assimilation of new values into the stream of culture. As said Romano Guardini. As if really goodness and truth automatically flow from technological and economic power as such. The fact is that contemporary man has not been trained to use power well. As said again Romano Guardini in his book The End of the Modern World, end of note. Because our immense technological development has not been accompanied by a development in human responsibility, values, and conscience. Each age tends to have only a meager awareness of its own limitations. It is possible that we do not grasp the gravity of the challenges now before us. The risk is growing day by day that man will not use his power as he should. In effect, power is never considered in terms of the responsibility of choice, which is inherent in freedom, since its only norms are taken from alleged necessity, from either utility or security. as said Romano Guardini again. But human beings are not completely autonomous. Our freedom fades when it is handed over to the blind forces of the unconscious, of immediate needs, of self-interest, and of violence. In this sense, we stand naked and exposed in the face of our ever-increasing power, lacking the wherewithal to control it. We have certain superficial mechanisms, but we can claim to have a sound ethics, a culture, and spiritually genuinely capable of setting limits and teaching clear-minded self-restraint.